What happens if you remove one of them, especially the verb? What happens if you just say, I happy, I happy, I am happy, I will be happy, I was happy, I am going to be happy, I have been happy. What? Hello, English learner. Welcome to IELTS Juice. Let's start assessing an essay today together, okay? Just you and me. In the future, more people will choose to go on holiday in their own country and not travel abroad on holiday. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? So the rubric wants you to write your own opinion. And the topic is that many people, but not now, in the future, will decide to explore their own country instead of other countries, and they don't travel abroad. Do you agree with this or you disagree? Is it something that you believe is going to happen or not? And remember, we're talking about the future here, so not necessarily now. That's the key takeaway from this rubric. Now here's a sample. Let's see how it is done. All right. In the future, going abroad is not an issue for people who would like to have a vacation. It's countable. And they would, I need a comma here because subject changes. The first part of the sentence's subject is going abroad, but the second part is they. They would prefer to go on holiday in their own country. As you can see, it's all one sentence, and that's not good. A sentence cannot form a paragraph. That's number one. It's a very good paraphrase of the rubric, but you know what's missing here? I don't see the writer's own opinion. I am just introduced to the two elements. So one element is there are people who would like to go on a vacation or go on a trip in their own home country, and there are others who prefer to go abroad. So, and this is what is going to happen in the future. There are some elements missing here. Ideally, I would like the writer to take my hand and show me steps to the gate. I'm talking about the introduction. So there are steps from the rubric to the gate that will open up to the following body paragraphs. I don't like it. This is just too few for an introduction. Let's move on. Firstly, they would little time to go abroad. They would, where's the verb? They would have little time, they would spend little time, they would mention little time. They would what? There's no verb. Now, verb is one of the key elements in an essay. I'm sure you agree with me, but it's not there. Now, that confuses me. As people are going to be busy because the pace of life is high and they don't have time to take a foreign tour, what happened? So I believe this as is wrong. People are going to be busy because the pace of life is high. So this is wrong because it creates a complex structure. And this complex structure needs an independent element, which is in another sentence. So this part needs to be continued with another element, and that element is missing. Again, you see, this adds to my confusion. Or maybe this is part of the first one and this punctuation mark, this full stop is wrong. If that is the case, then the problem is that this is just, yeah, then this is not a very good topic sentence, because you are telling me the problem and the reasons and everything right in the first sentence. Then there's, I read it all and I say, yeah, people will be busy in their life and they will not take a foreign tour. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I don't have any other questions. In the future, people will be busy, so they will not go on a foreign trip. Okay. Do I need to read the rest of the paragraph? No. Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you. Of course not. That means this is not a good opening if I read it all in one go. They would prefer to go on their own. They would prefer to. Why it's always go? There are a lot of going. It's just a little to go on, going. It's all about go. I mean, it keeps repeating. They would prefer to visit their own country. How about that? I don't know. There are too many goes here. Such travel would be convenient and enough for someone who would like to have a vacation at minimum time. Okay, it's rather weird. Usually it's the shortest time possible. But okay. In addition, the cost of travel would be considered. So this part is done. We talked about busy people, and these guys have a lot to do at work, so they just want the shortest trip possible. Okay, I get it. In addition to time, let's talk about money. The cost of travel would be considerable if people will go. If people go, it's not good to say will go here. This is not good grammar. If they, again, go for having travel abroad, this is just weird. Go for having travel abroad. I mean, they will travel abroad. Why there are too many words? And those too many words include the word go. Thus, they would, this is not correct punctuation. We need semicolon before thus and comma after it. Thus, they would prefer to save their money by going on holiday in their own territory. Double R, please. Double R, please, if I can pronounce it correctly. Which will more accessible. No verb. I'm left in a wonderland, which will be more accessible, which will, I don't know, which will probably be, but I mean, why? You cannot delete the, I mean, in English sentences, subject and verb are two critical elements. What happens if you remove one of them, especially the verb? What happens if you just say, I happy, I happy, I am happy, I will be happy, I was happy, I am going to be happy, I have been happy. What I mean, if you remove the verb, there are multiple ways that I can interpret that. That is the root of the issue here. More accessible and economical compared to foreign travel. Okay, but this is just one large sentence about money. All the way up to here. Yeah. It's all about money. One sentence, and that's it. We're switching topics now. I wish I wish actually that the writer added some more sentences. One simple example, even an example that includes money. And the money can be hypothetical. Let's say a ticket, a flight ticket now is $800 from A to B. You can come up with a destination from Mumbai to, I don't know, Toronto. And then you can say, but in the future, with the inflation and the cost of fuel and global warming and taxes and blah, blah, it might get to $8,000. I know it's not realistic. You can come up with a more realistic number, of course. Your math is much greater, in a much greater efficiency than mine, I guess. So you figure it out. But this is not enough for me. I needed more sentences. Moreover, the facilities around the world will be the same. How come? By the advent of technological advances, with the advent of that's the correct structure is with the advent of something. Different countries could connect to each other and adapt themselves to countries. I'm not sure the word adapt is a very good fit here. You actually cooperate, or you adjust, or you communicate themselves. You don't have to say it themselves. I mean, this is just weird English. To countries which are developed, to countries which are developed and have better facilities. Okay, basically, with the advent of technological advances, many other countries can connect and cooperate with other countries who are in a higher development level than they are. Makes sense. As a result, individuals would not observe distinct variation between their own country and others or other countries. Yeah, that makes sense. They would go on holiday in their own country where they could experience whatever is available in foreign countries. It's very generic. You should say that the foreign country or the foreign countries, which countries? The higher developed ones. With in foreign countries with the highest better. Okay. Yeah. Good. With the highest standard, or with a higher standard, which encourages them. I need a comma here, which this is different. I'm explaining the whole concept now, which encourages them to remain with this trend, persist. This has a negative connotation. It's like many people are advising you not to do that, and you persist. You keep doing it. It's not good for this context. On the other hand, okay, now why I wanted your opinion. And I'm listening to another individual's opinion. On the other hand, that's difficult for us to do at IELTS, because when we start talking about other people's opinion in an opinion essay, because in the opinion essay, your opinion matters. But when you decide to talk about another person's opinion, it's very important, guys. Number one, it's risky. Number two, it's difficult. And number three, if you are going to talk about other people's opinions here in such essays, you have to go there, talk about the opinion, defeat the opinion, and bring it back to help your opinion go better, or stand higher, or boost your opinion. So if you're talking about other people's opinion, make sure you do these elements. You go there, you defeat whatever they have to say, and you bring it to boost your own opinion. If you cannot execute it, it's difficult, I told you. If you cannot execute it, then it's best not to mention other people's opinions in opinion essays. Okay? Please take my word very carefully. I'm just talking about opinion essays. Let's continue. Some people would go, I still keep hearing the word go here, would go traveling. You don't go for travel, you go traveling abroad. Or you go abroad. You don't have to say a lot of words here. Abroad, so as to visit other places which are new and would enhance their knowledge in this regard. Okay, and could enhance their knowledge. Let's see. Oh, I don't like to start sentences with but. It's very spoken. It's not good. It's not very suitable for written English. But as a result of having negative effects on them, I need a comma. Like wasting a lot of time and money in another country or in other countries. This structure. The number of these people will be reduced. It's a future simple passive voice. And as a result, because result is countable, I need a comma before and. More people will go on holidays or will go on holiday in their own home, in their own region. Okay, now all of a sudden the country becomes a region, and that's not very logical. And the region is not a synonym for country. We know that. The rubric mentions specifically country, so this is not a very good word choice. That's a mistake. That's an error. IELTS will look at it as an error. Anyway, it's not 100% accurate. I admire the audacity of the writer to go and defeat the opponent and bring the victory back, you know, with banners and heads held high that, yeah, we're victorious. We defeated the enemy. We defeated the opposing opinion. But it's just very small. I mean, it needed more development. The framework is okay-ish. I also don't like this connector. Still, I can't I can't get over it. In conclusion, I believe that more, let's read the conclusion now. I believe that more individuals would go on holiday in their own country because of lack of time and saving money. Good. Yes, these two were mentioned. Also, not good punctuation here. Semicolon before, comma is okay. They could experience the same facilities in their own country. Yeah, all the three items are listed here. Although some persons, people, please, persons is not the plural of people. The meaning is different. Persons is not the plural of person. It is technically, but the meaning is different. And it is used in other contexts, not related to IELTS. So at IELTS, just say people, don't use persons. The number of them won't, where is the verb? The number of them won't, considerable, probably won't be considerable, but the verb is missing again. 359 words, I think 19 of them were just the word go, and there are a lot of missing verbs. So let's look at the band descriptors. Yes, I admired the audacity. The writer's opinion was there, and the opposing side was there, and the writer was successful in creating the framework. It is well developed in certain areas, especially the writer's own opinion is very well developed. I had three elements to support his opinion, and he also mentioned, or she also mentioned, the opposing side. So you and I both understood the framework, but there were elements that in some cases was overgeneralized, and I needed some more development and it wasn't there. Or I wanted some specific elements and those elements weren't there either. That's why it deserves a 7 and it cannot get any higher than 7. I told you it's difficult. It's really difficult. The fact that just these elements are there is one thing. The other thing is that you actually need to execute it correctly and properly, and that is important. As for coherence and cohesion, the ideas are arranged coherently. It's actually better arranged. The arrangement is, the problem with this, it's because the introduction was very, very weak. So a weak introduction contributed to this and to also to this paragraphing issue. So we have just one sentence and that sentence cannot form a paragraph. So paragraphing is not always logical here. I had issues with connectors. I had issues with some references, and especially when there were missing verbs, or when you don't know who you're talking about. References are not about verbs, so it just doesn't matter. And the overall progression is just, yes, we're going to talk about the writer's opinion, and that's it. We had an overall progression, but we didn't have a sequential method, because in the sequential way, you need to mention your opinions and maybe your opinion in your opinion elements, and then you need to also say that, yeah, there are others who believe this. That doesn't, it wasn't like that. As for lexical resource, the vocabulary range was very good, sufficient, but I encountered multiple vocabulary errors. The vocabulary errors, the number of vocabulary errors was significant, and at the same time, they weren't very hard to understand. So my communication with the essay was not disrupted, so I was okay. The communication was quite okay. That's not the case with grammatical range and accuracy, because I struggled with missing verbs and overuse of the verb go, and and also we had some issues with grammar. There were complex structures that they weren't executed correctly. I had complex structures that were just all by themselves alone. I needed an independent clause, or there were missing elements. So these are key elements that contribute to problems with grammatical range and accuracy. All in all, it is a 6. I think the best takeaway from this strategy is, when you listen to your teachers and they tell you that, yeah, you need to mention the opposing side or not, always know that it's not just a matter of, yeah, if I mention the opposing side, then my score will automatically go up. No, it's not just that. You need to also develop it, and you need to execute it correctly. And hey, it's always better that your sentences have a verb. That's always better than coming up with a fancy structure that can, I don't know, well, you think that will magically improve your writing score. So let's first make sure the basics are there. And from there, the foundation is correct. And from there, we can slowly go up. On that note, I wish you have a lovely day with your representatives, may it be letters, essays, or reports. Take care.